Welcome. Last class of the week. Again, not a too difficult class today. What we will do is today I will talk to you a little bit about small update about coronavirus. I think it's important that you are well informed. You know what I think. However, it's not good news. The reason is definitely not my intention, at least, is not to make you scared or anything. But I really think you have to be good informed to make the right decisions and to know where we're heading. Then we will finish today our section of the anatomical planes and anatomical terminology, and then we will have a closer look at skin. We will introduce skin today. It's important to understand how our skin is built, what kind of components it has. And we need this knowledge, this basic knowledge a little bit, because that's the biological part. Because next week I want to do an activity with you together in order to understand where skin color comes from. You possibly already know certain things about it, but there is a lot you possibly that I guess you don't know. And in this activity, it's a video. It's like a short documentary, and we will answer some questions together about this. And it's really interesting because it gives you a complete other perspective on skin color, and yeah, it teaches us a little bit that how ridiculous racism is, because if you think about it, it's still a huge issue today. Think about the Black Matter movement. Think about the less possibilities that people have in our own country, in Mexico, just for skin color. I mean, their tests have been done. For instance, if you're for instance example, you're a girl and you're applying for a secretary job or a reception job, and if you're both the same qualified, then they will always take the more fair girl, the one with the lighter skin, because this looks more professional, or I don't know, whatever they think, but it's completely ridiculous. And yeah, it's a huge problem. So first things first, like always, and we're gonna have a look at the small video fragment, which is already it's not of today, but it's a good one. It really explains what's happening, and it's of some weeks ago, and when we put it into context, it was in fact because it was in fact now it's more important than it was before, because you know that the coronavirus variants are emerging faster than we could imagine. And the problem is basically that I have to pay. There is an article of the New York Times that indicates that the yes, Maria Fernanda, restart your computer. It indicates that the South Africa variant of the coronavirus, the vaccine is not working that well. So normally it has like a 90% efficacy, and it seems that this variant is not so effective. Okay, so I can show you that here. Where is the article? There's one here of CNN. It's in New York Times as well, and the efficiency was way down. Okay, but I'm first share with you this South African variant news, because it's really worth our concern, in fact. Okay, let's have a look.
One of the main reasons for the decision to push millions more into Tier 4 in England is the rate of new infections, with fears that this is being driven by the new variant of the virus. But this afternoon, the Health Secretary revealed that 2 cases of yet another variant have been detected in the UK. This one was first discovered in South Africa. Tonight, the government said it was temporarily stopping flights from there from 9 a.m. tomorrow. Our health correspondent Sophie Hutchinson reports.
South Africa, where another new variant of coronavirus is causing alarm. Scientists say initial evidence suggests it's more infectious than other versions of the virus, and doctors are reporting more young people who are seriously ill.
This new variant is highly concerning because it is yet more transmissible, and it appears to have mutated further than the new variant that's been discovered in the UK.
The 2 people found in the UK with this variant are being quarantined along with close contacts. The government's brought in immediate travel restrictions with South Africa and says anyone who's been there in the past 2 weeks must self-isolate along with their close contacts. And all of this on top of the new variant believed to have originated in the UK. Today, the government released these graphs showing its rapid growth in different parts of England. The dark lines are the new variant. The lighter lines are the pre-existing strains. And MPs were told today the UK variant believed to have emerged in Kent has probably spread further.
But the fact they picked up 10 cases with sequencing of this new variant in a country as small as Denmark with a relatively low infection rate would suggest, I'm almost certain in my view, that this virus has been introduced into the great majority, if not all, of European countries at the current time.
Whenever viruses mutate into new strains like the one that spread so fast here in London, there's inevitably concern about whether vaccines will still work. The developers behind the coronavirus vaccines are now checking that. But scientists are confident that vaccines will be able to adapt.
One of the beauties really of this novel technology is its simplicity, and in theory its adaptability, its agility to respond.
The developers of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, which is being used by the NHS, believe it will still be effective, reassuring those who are relying on it as a way out of this pandemic. Sophie Hutchinson, BBC News.
One of the main reasons for the decision.
You have your mic off.
Thanks. The last part of this news flash is of some weeks ago, and they said like, yeah, we have high hopes that the vaccine will still be effective. Now we know it's not. It dropped to half. Guys, are there any of you who is still asleep? I mean, seriously, about this coronavirus. I just want to tell you, wake up. This is something that yeah, that the world hasn't seen before, and it's not. I mean, I say wake up because if you are there still any of you that think that it will go away or that it will disappear or whatever, it's seriously time to do different things, guys. I really believe that we had one shot, like Daniela said in the other group. We had the shot to quarantine in the beginning. If the whole world would have quarantined for 1 and 2 months and we would have been very, very serious about it, the problem would not be that high right now. We had a good shot with the vaccine. If you release the vaccine everywhere at the same time and you try to vaccinate all the people more or less in the same time frame, you have a shot to eliminate the virus. We didn't do this well. We are vaccinating a little bit here, a little bit there. I mean, the virus keeps on spreading, and from the moment that I will get my vaccine, the first people that got the vaccine, they're not immune anymore. So we really have to, I mean, not we, but I'm just telling you that we are not responding to this crisis as we should. I'm very, very concerned about this because, I mean, it hasn't been even a year and we have so many different strains going on, and there doesn't seem to be any end in sight. It surprises me really that the world is so divided, that there is the anti-vaccine people, there is the conspiracy theorist people, then there's the other ones that say that we're attacking the freedom, but we really have like an international crisis, and we're not resolving it. We're just letting it go, let it happen, you know. And what the consequences will be of letting this happen, because we are not quarantining properly. Even students, you know, I mean, they're joining with 20-30 people in the rancho. I mean, I'm not judging anybody, but seriously, we're all contribute in our own way a little bit of not fixing the problem. And it's not your fault, it's not my fault. The thing is that why did we fail in 2021 to really give a good answer to this crisis, you know. Maybe it's not bad enough yet, you know. People, they switch of opinion, or they change their opinion when they're really directly confronted with something. But where it will go, what I think, with what we see right now is just that we have to live with it. And we will, for the years to come, we will see many people still be affected by this. And I just hope that it doesn't keep mutating like it does, because the South African variant is very, very concerning. um, yeah, I don't want to be pessimistic about it, because I sound really pessimistic, but I just want to be honest, you know. I mean, I don't understand that they don't see it, and that there's so little response to this. It even makes me angry a little bit, because I mean, we have all the technology, we have we can do everything to fix the problem, but why don't we fix it? It's such a human thing, you know. Think about global calentamiento, global heating, you know, global warming, the same thing, you know. Um, Last week, I read a very concerning article about saying that sea level rise will go up way more, that it will go up more than in the worst case scenario. And we don't do anything. Nobody plants trees. We keep on cutting. We just keep doing whatever we do. I think this is really, really, you could start thinking like, are we deserving this, you know? I mean, why are we like this, you know? um and I'm not saying we all are, but really we need to rethink a little bit. I just want to reflect a little bit about it, because I don't know how you feel about all of this. It's been a long time already. It will take a lot more time, but we are in the process of acceptation still. We're not adapting. We're still accepting, you know, what is happening to us, and we're not adapting to it. And in fact, uh, the things that are changing around us, they need that we adapt, and we don't do it fast enough. And this will have its price. And that's a pity for us, you know. Anyway, guys, like I said, I don't want to depress anybody. There's no reason to be depressed. There's a lot of beautiful things going on, but it's also, we have to wake up. I have to tell you what's going on, you know. We cannot be blind. We cannot act like, yeah, it's all okay, because it's not, you know. And at least we have each other. That's nice. um, okay, that's a little bit the doomsday message for today, let's say. And then let's start with our class, which will be about the anatomical positions right now, which we still have to finish. So we will do that in Canvas, or if somebody wants to comment something about this, you can, because Luna says like, we're too human to things in the right way. Yeah, I think so too. Pity. Anybody wants to say something about it? No? Okay, then we can continue with what we were doing. So yesterday we have seen, I can quickly go over it again. We have seen these tissues, okay? I'm filming, no, yes, that's fine. So we have seen the levels of organization, specialized cells, tissues. If we go over to tissues, we had the epithelial tissue, okay? Think about skin, we will talk a lot more about that today. We had the adipose, cartilage, bone, and blood, which are the connective tissues. We had our muscle tissues, which has cardiac, skeletal, and smooth muscle. And we have nervous tissue, okay? Then we have here the nice picture to see on a histological level how those cells look like, and that you can recognize them. I think it's also important that you recognize that. And then yesterday we started with our anatomy, which is important to understand how to position things. We talked about body planes. We went a little bit fast over it, but we go a little bit more in detail today. At least we will revise it. Remember, you had the sagittal plane going through the nose, the coronal plane through the ears, and the transversal plane, which is the green one, cutting the body into half, let's say. Okay. And now let's talk a little bit about the directional terms. This goes hand in hand with those planes, of course. Yeah. So here you can see it as a horse. Okay. If you have the dorsal and the ventral, which was that one? So in which plane have we these positions, dorsal and ventral?
Sagittal?
No, in the sagittal plane, we have, remember that in the sagittal plane, we talk more about medial and lateral. So that's a little bit what you can see here. Here, if you have this girl here, medial is more to the sagittal plane, and lateral is further away from that plane. So if we talk about anterior and posterior, or ventral and dorsal, it's the plane that cuts like this through the black man, like you see here. Which one was that? It's called the frontal or the coronal plane. Okay, it's the one that goes through the ears, you know. And depending on where the cut is, if it's to the front or more to the back, we say it's more ventral or more anterior, which refers to the belly, or more to the back, which is more dorsal or posterior. And then we have like the transversal cut, okay, that can go everywhere through the body. And there we have proximal and distal. And proximal and distal, you use those terms. Basically, proximal is more to the center of the body, and distal is more further away from the body. Okay. But it's also relative, because if you look at this Asian girl, you could say, for instance, her knees are proximal to her pelvis. Okay. Yes, that's true. But her no, are distal to the pelvis, but the pelvis is still more distal to the heart than, for instance, the liver. Okay, you understand that? It really depends how you see it. So the knees are more proximal to the pelvis than the feet are, but the feet are more distal to the knees than the pelvis. Okay, I mean, I'm messing it up a little bit, but anyway, it really depends what you refer to. So these terms are a little bit relative in that sense. Okay. In a moment, we will do some exercises about it, a small exercise. And then to finish the anatomical part, we also have certain cavities, okay? And cavities are important because these are basically not openings, but it's like places inside our body where our main organ systems are. So if we look here to the dorsal body cavity, we have two of them, and we have the cranial cavity and we have the vertebral cavity. And which is the organ system we have there? Arturo, what do you think?
What I think about what?
Which kind of organ system can we find in the cranial or the vertebral cavity? In fact, it's the same organ system that we find in the the dorsal body cavity. And I guess you know, because it's very intuitive, you know.
In the cranial cavity,
Yes,
the brain, no?
yes, but how do we call that system? Anybody?
Ahí sí no puse atención, una disculpa.
Okay, it seems.
Nervous system?
The nervous system, really well. That's correct, the nervous system. Then we have the thoracic cavity, and the thoracic cavity has different cavities inside of it. It has the pleural cavity and the pericardial cavity. So if we talk about the pleural cavity, what kind of system do we have there? Julieta, do you know? You should know. It's quite intuitive, like I said. Are you there, Julieta?
Yes, but if I have some internet issues. What was the question?
So we have a cavity here, in this place, which we call the thoracic cavity. So what kind of organ system could we find in the thoracic cavity? In fact, there are two of them, because we have two cavities. We have the pleural cavity and we have the pericardial cavity. Okay, so what kind of organ systems do we have in these cavities? Gretel, what do you think?
The digestive system.
No, the digestive system, that's in the
Maybe the circulatory and respiratory system.
yeah, the very good, Gael. The respiratory system, we have it in the pleural cavity, and in the pericardial cavity we have a part of our circulatory system. That's very good. Then we have this red cavity here below, which we call the abdominal cavity, and there you have it. What kind of system do we have there? You just said it.
Digestive.
Yeah, digestive. Okay. Okay. And
Teacher,
then,
I don't know, but maybe I think you hear us with a little delay or something, but I'm not very sure.
yeah, it's possible. That's why I wait a little bit. And then we have here the pelvic cavity, and then we have one more system there, which is the urinary system and the reproductive system. In fact, more the reproductive system than the urinary system. Any questions about these cavities right here? No?
No.
Okay. This we have seen yesterday. We have our plane, so you can review that. And this we also did yesterday. So we can do this exercise right here, very easy. So the first girl, what kind of plane is it? Amelia?
Sorry, what's the question again?
The first girl here, she has like a plane through her body. Which one is it?
That must be the sagittal.
Yeah, very, very good. Isaac, here, the second girl, the plane that goes through her ears and through to her body like this.
Me?
This girl here, the second one, what do you think? Which plane is it?
Transverse.
No.
Coronal.
Coronal, yeah. And the last one, transverse, would be, of course, this. Okay, guys, this definitely comes in the exam. Make sure you know that. Okay, so sagittal through the nose, coronal is like through the ears, let's say, and transversal is this horizontal cuts no matter where to the body. So it can be more up and it can be more down. In our presentations in the future, you will see different kind of cuts. You will see why it's important. Okay, let's do this one. Here we have to put the body cavities. So if we talk about the ventral cavity, Ali, where would that be?
The what? The ventral?
The ventral cavity.
Ventral cavity. I think in the like where are the lungs?
No, the ventral cavity is basically everything right here. Okay, so it's all to this side. So it's the cumulative thing. The pelvic one, try the pelvic one.
Oh, is the one of the bottom?
Okay, really good. And which one would this then be?
The abdominal.
Okay, so if you know those two, you also know this one.
The dorsal.
Yeah, abdominal pelvic, really good. So spinal, Vera Sofia, where does that go? We have 4 left.
the one in the head, but like the outer one, you know, like the one to the
Yeah.
left.
Spinal is your spinal column, so it's indeed lower. And then we have the dorsal one. We have seen that was the both of them. And the cranial one, I think, is the most easy one. So this one goes up here, right? And then the thoracic one, that's the one that's left. And our raccoon is happy again. Okay, so now we finished this, and I want to introduce today how our skin is built, because this is really important, like I said, to understand the following part of what we will do next week about skin color, and to see why racism is such a ridiculous thing. So let me go there. One second, please, because it's not open yet. So this is already a following week, but because the content is really little, I just want to give the introduction. So we already know a lot about our skin. Last week in the last lessons, we talked about it. We know that it's basically considered as it's part of the immune system in a certain way, because we call that the external non-specific barrier, and it protects us from viruses, bacteria, and other body foreign elements which can make us ill. So we know that the skin, we call that also the integumentary system, and it's made out of skin, hair, nails, glands, and nerves. Okay, so in fact, nerves are more part of the nervous system, but anyway, they are. It's not that they're completely separated, so they're always like there's always overlap between the systems. You know, none system of our body works completely independent. Okay. So let's have a look at the skin. We already saw that we have sebum. Our skin produces sebum. That's the white wax, which has certain proteins in it. Examples are lysozyme and defensin, which kill off bacteria in a quite efficient way. And also that our skin is slightly acidic. In fact, it's very acidic. In fact, if you compare it to neutral acidity, and that also helps us. Our skin produces sweat, depending on the place of our skin, produces more sweat than in other places. And we also have glands in it, okay? Those glands, if we look at the cross section of our skin here, you see, yes,
you're not sharing screen.
Okay, there we go. So here, the skin has like different parts. We have the epidermis, the dermis, and the subcutaneous tissue. Okay, and here you can typically see what are the structures of the skin. If we talk about the epidermis, and yesterday we did a class about tissue, our epidermis, what kind of tissue is it? We saw that yesterday.
Epithelial?
So, yeah, epithelial tissue. You can typically recognize that on cells that are densely compacted, have a protective function. They have close connection between each other, and it's difficult to penetrate. So if we are in the dermis, this is really the protective layer of our skin. It's really the top layer, is the layer that sometimes you lose it when you lose your skin. It's renewed in quite often, so it's always renewed, the epidermis. It's what protects us the most. If we go below that, we have the dermis, and inside the dermis is where you can find our glands. Okay, so we have sebum glands. Sebum glands is the glands that produce like the waxy stuff, and we have also sweat glands. Okay, the primary function of sweat is in fact to regulate our body temperature. Okay. Thermoregulation, we call that. Okay, and in fact, you all know that sweat can be smelly, right? In fact, sweat itself has no odor whatsoever. What causes the odor of sweat is the bacteria that live on our skin. Okay, it's in fact the combination between the bacteria and the host that generate a particular smell for each person, which is individual. You all know that if you have if you're close to a certain person, that you can recognize those persons just by their smell. That's completely normal, but it's not because of sweat. It's because of molecules produced that are called pheromones, and it's because of the bacteria you have on your skin. Okay, so don't start washing too much, because you can basically not do more that much about it. You know,
Teacher,
your body smell is specific. Yes, dear.
so if I shower and then I do exercise and sweats, will it smell different?
um Never good question. You possibly smell a bit less, because if you showered and you use soap, you removed an amount of those bacteria. But your smell can never, you can never remove your smell completely. And in fact, there is a practice now with hipsters and really rich people, that certain people, you know, that they don't have such a great smell, and other ones they smell fine, right? And there's people now experimenting, and they say that it works by transplanting different kind of bacteria in your armpits. So basically, you make yourself dirty. That people try to change their body smell. And I've never tried it myself, but supposedly it works. And if we see it from a theoretical point of view, indeed it might work. You know. Um, Anyway, I do think it's something beautiful about humans, you know, that we have our particular smell. I even see it as something romantic, you know. I mean, if I have three children, and they all smell differently, and I like how they smell, you know. It's the same with your boyfriend or girlfriend. Normally, you can even be attracted to a smell of a certain person, so it's not only bad, you know. I don't think we have to get rid of that, because it's really part of us being humans, you know.
Also, teacher, I don't know where I read that when you've been with someone for a while and you kiss a lot and do that kind of stuff, you share your microbiome and then your smell changes. Is that true or a myth?
No, that's absolutely true, Luna. It's true. Yeah, yeah, it's true. Um, yeah, it's even nice, don't you think? I mean, you become by being you're more immune having a boy or a girlfriend, or than being single, you know, because you share bacteria. So here, guys, we another thing we have in this dermis, our hair follicles are there, and we have seen yesterday that those hair follicles are a big part in causing goosebumps. And you also have here this smooth muscle. You know, every hair follicle has like a little smooth muscle there, in order to put the hair upwards, which we call erector. And then we also have here, like what you see here are capillaries. You know that our skin has like lots of little veins in it. Even if you look really carefully and you're really white, you can even see them. In my white places, I can even see them sometimes, like those very microscopic little small red lines. This basically what you can see here. If you're really fair skinned, you can see it right through the epidermis. Okay, here you have your sweat glands and your sebum glands. Sebum glands, we call them sebaceous glands. Okay, they produce a little bit different stuff. You know, the sebaceous glands is more the white, waxy stuff, like I said, and the sweat gland is more the liquid stuff. Okay, you know them both. And what else is interesting about the skin? Well, it's the largest organ of the body. You already knew that, but you possibly didn't know that it's so heavy. It's 12 to 15% of your body weight. So the more musculous or the more obese you are, of course, the percentage goes a little bit down. But if you're a more skinny person, it's a considerable part of your weight. Okay. Also, your skin is very different depending on the place. It's not all the same. You know, you typically have very thin skin under your eyes. That's why it becomes wrinkled faster. Also, in your face is a little bit thinner. That's why we get more wrinkles in our face. We also get more wrinkles in our face because all the rest of our usually covered, and it doesn't get exposed to solar rays and contamination that much. So basically, you could have like really great skin under your clothes, and then your face is already all wrinkled. But basically there's no other way. You cannot cover your face all your life, of course. And then we have certain parts where the skin is very, very thick, like your hand palms, and the most thick would be on the palm of your feet. Okay. And yeah, you know how it looks like. You know, here you have like these little pores, and these pores, they typically have like a sweat gland connected to it. Also, there might be a hair or two. Okay. We will see that also, that the production of vitamin D, we will see that next week in our activity. And this is how the skin looks like under the microscope. You can typically see the epithelial tissue here. The microscope, you see often like this pink, no, it's not pink, purple pictures. It's because not the skin has not this color, you know. If you work in a lab and you do imaging under microscope, usually we use colorants, okay? Very microscopic small molecules that color it, because otherwise it becomes really hard to see something under the microscope. So this is not natural. We just give it a color on purpose to really make differences between the different kind of structures. If you wouldn't do that, basically what you see is just like transparent and with some kind of structures, but it's really not that clear. And by giving it a color, you can really see very nice things under the microscope. So this is the 3D model of the skin. You can load it and have a look at it. Basically, we went already over it. You can see here sweat glands, the little muscle. I moved too fast. The sebaceous gland, the hair follicle. This is a sebaceous gland. This is a sweat gland. I'm not so handy with it, it seems. Here, this one. This is like a sweat gland, hair follicle, like little smooth muscle. This is nerve endings. Okay, you can have a look at it. And then we have the last thing of today is our nails and hairs. We have nails, guys. It's made of exactly the same protein as our hairs, which is called keratin. And basically we have nails because they protect our fingertips. Okay, if we wouldn't have nails, then basically our fingertips, they would be big scars all of our lives. It's not really handy. They help us scratch, they help opening food, dealing with stuff. So our nails, even if we don't use them anymore that much, they're still quite important for protection. Okay, in fact, all animals, they have them. And then next week we will have a closer look at that skin color. Okay, so this is it for this week, guys. Like I said, it's a long weekend. Enjoy it as full as you can. Please go out, go into nature, enjoy it with your family. uh, I organized everything in Canvas in such a way that you can enjoy your weekend fully. You don't have to hand in anything by Sunday, not by Monday. Certain things are for Wednesday. So basically, if you want to have your weekend free, I'm not going to bother you with anything, and I hope you can enjoy your long weekend. Okay. So take care, guys, and we see each other next week, Wednesday. Okay.
Thanks, teacher.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.